video, I thought you might like to see my cabinets of curiosity. They're not really cabinets, they're just printer's trays stuck on a wall with really hideous wallpaper because I am still in my parents' house. I can't imagine what it would take to get that off because my dad used to just paint over and over and over until it became like... Anyway, don't look at that, look at the things that I'm showing you. These are things that I have collected because everybody should collect mad things. Some of them are quite poignant. I wonder who these people are. I don't really wonder who he is because he's quite foul, but also quite brilliant in a sinister way, from the Happy Families, vintage Happy Families deck. Yes, I do wonder who these ladies are and why they ended up in a junk shop for me to purchase. I would imagine that I would probably end up there too sometime in the future, that I wouldn't look quite as attractive as the lovely Victorians did. Anyway, there are some bottles which I wish I'd dug up myself because I would love to go bottle digging, but I never have. And I can't tell you what that is. Perhaps you can read it. What is that one? It says, let me have a look. Oh, Mrs. Winslow's soothing something or other syrup, which I think had opium in it, which would have been delicious, but sadly it's empty. What's this one? Lung tonic. Maybe that would be quite useful today for some people. It's Albridge's. You can't even see that. I'm reading it to you anyway. It's Albridge's lung tonic. I really wish I'd been able to find these myself. It seems a bit of a cheat to buy them out of a shop, but there you go. One day I hope to go bottle digging and find my own, if somebody hasn't dug them all up already, because the YouTube videos make this pursuit so popular that I would imagine there's very few left intact. Anyway, moving on. We have a lovely letter O. Coral flake. It would have been very beautiful when it was, no, I think it looks nicer like that, when it's all sort of bashed up and worn, yes, than perhaps when it was new. But it's a lovely thing. I do love things degenerating and breaking down and becoming bashed. Gives them much more character. There's a watch back, lovely, beautiful, how things were made, very steampunk. A cow, a lead cow yesterday, there we go. A moon-shaped cutter for making pastry, an actual watch face, and a duck, a lead duck. 3 as a printer's block, and I don't know where all these came from. They've been collected over many years. Isn't that just a beautiful piece of design? What I love about all these things is things were made, they were made to be objects of great beauty. They weren't throwaway, well they were, I suppose, but anything and everything was made with much more care. I don't know how in a space of just over 100 years we lost the ability to make beautiful things like that, or to be bothered to make beautiful things like that. Yes, I know it's a cigarette packet, but it's still of its time and it's gorgeous looking. A key to who knows where. I stuck this piece of skeleton thing at the back of this one, and some music, as you do. Yes, and there's a little lead white hair. Very wonderful when I found that. Yes, moving on. Another bottle, and the Ace of Spades, in tribute to Lemmy, of course. And mentholatum. I remember my mum slathering me with that when I was a small child in the 60s, but I don't think it still exists anymore. But that's a very old pot of it. And another lady down here, looking very wistful and lovely. Imagine having to wear that though. Good grief, how it would have hampered everything that you did. Yeah, I'm doing this quickly, aren't I? So I'm not going to... Oh, look, there's There's a Renaissance man stuck in the back. Somebody probably recognises who that is. I couldn't tell you. Yes, I was trying to decorate this printer's tray with bits of sort of sepia-toned scraps. And I gave up on the other one. Anyway, the letter O. This is a fabulous kind of leaping imp card thing. Couldn't tell you where that comes from. Is it a cigarette card? I don't know. Don't know. Oh, the beautiful money that used to exist as well. I mean, that's a threepenny bit. It's gorgeous. It's upside down though, unfortunately. FFI. Back to front. Another lead cow yesterday, having a lie down. That must mean it's going to rain, although I found that that never actually comes true when you see cows lying down. Indigestion tablets. Even that's just nice, isn't it? We wouldn't get any of these lovely tin. I mean, things like that just wouldn't exist anymore. They just get chucked, well, they get recycled. You know, anyway. I love this. It's not a very attractive box, but it's G's Linctus pastels, which contained opium. Do I have a thing about opium? I'm not saying anything. Anyway, yes, so they would have been just delicious, I'm sure, as well. The letter Y, a lovely domino, some very nice scissors. This lovely child, why did she end up abandoned in a junk shop? I do not know. There she is, not looking very happy with the whole situation of being stuffed into that dress and photographed by a complete stranger hiding behind a camera. We'll just go down to the bottom now. Buttons. That's not the most attractive tin in the world, but it's a lovely colour. Lovely, beautiful cotton. Even cotton reels don't look nice anymore. Really wooden and beautifully printed. And I think as we go downwards, we lose. There's a fantastic stone from Cornwall there, perfectly marked with a cross. Oh, yes, we'll move on. It's very dusty down there as well, which is embarrassing. Anyway, right, I've just stuck some more people down the sides of this one. Hello. Hello. Beautiful. This poor chap. I wonder if there's a date on that. Is there a date on that? No, he comes from Camberwell. I wonder, is that pre-war? I wonder if he went to war. Did he survive the war? You could make up stories about all these people, but he was a Camberwell man. I wonder if somebody would recognise him. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Lovely Victorian lady posing in front of the backdrop. Another young man that may or may not have been a victim of one of the wars. Nothing about him on there at all, so he remains totally anonymous, and the writing on there is too faded for me to make out at the moment. This is rather marvellous. 100 finest visiting cards. There's nothing in the box, unfortunately, but they would be cards, I can't say it because I can't speak French, card de visite or something, isn't it, where they would go around and put their photographs in little visiting tray at the front of the house when the person was not at home, to say that I have called to see you, please return my compliment by coming to see me, or whatever. There's nothing in there, as I say, but it would have been... I'd like to find some visiting cards to go in it, because they're probably great. Let's move on to this lovely... There are some strange... Curiosities. There's a cabinet of Curiosity, umbrella and violin. That is just so dinky and lovely. And I think it probably was there to teach children, I would imagine. What else would it be there for? This little block. Another excellent cotton reel. Oh God, isn't that fantastic? Licorice and menthol pellets. Owl regurgitation pellets. I don't think they sold those, but there's yes. I remember my mum again having a little tin by the side of her bed with something called imps in, which were also licorice pellets. I'd like to get an imps tin. Yeah, that doesn't endear me to wanting to chew one of those, really, does it you? Sounds quite foul. A pellet. There's another G's Linctus. This is a bit bashed up, different design. Again, it is of interest because of what the ingredients were. Have a look about that for yourselves. And there's a H, and another clock face, and a very small, focus please, very small cow. I'm not even sure what it's doing. Maybe we should leave it in peace. Violin. There's another one of those blocks. This one is less bashed up and not quite so interesting as that one, because that one has obviously been around and used, whereas this one looks a bit more pristine. We have a tiny cake cutter and a tiny, tiny dice. Isn't that just adorable? A key to somewhere. This was mine. I just put him in there because he looked good from my childhood. A fish pencil sharpener and a tiny lead pig and a letter 8 and a 6pence. Oh, that's just nice. Superior quality pins. Pins will not pass through the head. Well, that's good to know, isn't it? It's very reassuring, I feel. Excellent. Oh, I love this. Look at that little train sign. Some metal. Might be lead, I'm not sure. Heavy anyway. Crossing, no gates. It's just so beautifully designed. Such care. And then we get on to Creepy Corner. He's alright really, he just looks a bit weird. I can imagine him turning up life size at the foot of your bed. That would be a different matter, but he's alright, look at him. He's a fine fellow. He's next to Rex Essence of Ratafia. Of course. I have no idea why. I'm sorry, I don't want to insult you. Oh, focus, focus. There he is. He's alright. Let's move on from him, he might feel embarrassed. What's this bottle? Sample bottle. Swamp root. What? That can't be. Swamp root from London. Okay. That bottle there is swamp root from London. Maybe it would go nice with a pellet or something. Oh. In contrast, that's rather beautiful and self-explanatory. Then there's this absolutely fine gentleman. They all look so awkward, don't they? I mean, it's not really helped by the fact they're wearing layers and layers of uncomfortable clothing, but they do look so blooming awkward. It was all new to them, wasn't it? Unless he was trying to look like serious or... but it doesn't really come across like that. He just looks a bit odd. Poor chap. Anyway, but to end up here next to a dice and a cotton reel and a really interesting stone. Look at that, it's beautiful. Right, we're nearly finished. Extra japanned finish, of course. Why not? Next to a letter X. And an old penny and a beautiful shell. I have no idea where that came from, probably Cornwall too. The Joker. Beautifully designed little playing card. Not much down here, and I'm afraid my back isn't going to let me bend down, so there's a tiny I must move that actually. It belongs with my Camberwick Green set from my childhood. She is one of the children from Camberwick Green and she's been put in here. She should be with her family elsewhere. I will move you later, love. What's that? That's 4 square tin. It's not that interesting, but hey. These things were put there until I could find other things that were more interesting, but that has not happened so far because I have not been looking. A skull of an unknown creature. I think it's probably a rabbit, most likely. I found that myself. Day-night rubber buttons for your... I don't know what you do with those. Have fun with them, and a little cutter, and I think that's enough for now. I didn't really mean to make this video, and I just thought, why not? Somebody might be really interested. If there's anybody out there, I don't know if anybody is bothered. Just churning these things out in the hope that somebody will be interested in them and admire the lovely dust and the fabulous backdrop of my dad's grotesque anaglypta wallpaper. Don't blame me, please. Anyway, that's all from the cabinet of Curiosities 1 and 2. Goodbye. Thank you if you have joined me.